Welcome to the Institute of Remote Perception. My name is Alexander Fedige, and today I'm delighted to welcome the founder of the PSI Games, Hakim Isler from the United States of America. So, um, Hakim, I'm glad to have you here.
Yay, thank you. I appreciate it.
Well. Hakim, you you are a participator who are from in a lot of American TV shows, and you go by a lot of different names, such as the Black MacGyver or the Black Ninja, and you are practicing ninjutsu for a long time. Has this been the starting point for you to the world of consciousness?
Um, so that's a loaded question. It's not the start of it. So when I like a lot of kids, I grew up with a very strong imagination, and I knew for sure that excuse me, that I was going to be involved in like I always had this dream or this idea that I was this I always identify with like the magician or the superhero that had these powers, you know? And
Hmm.
I always wanted to bring that out. I even remember me and my friend, we would always make up superhero characters and pretend to be them, you know? And so, I always kind of had that. And then later in my life, I found ninjutsu, and I moved to Ohio to train with the guy who brought it to America. And that also started to really evolve this idea of these extra sensory or extra capabilities that we as human beings have, and diving into that more. And as I started to get more into the wilderness training and understanding more of ancient peoples and how they went to nature to develop these potentials, I started to grow in my understanding and my desire to want to follow through with growing my own personal potential. And that's kind of gives you like a brief summary of what how this process started for me.
Hmm. Very nice. And how or when did you came up with the idea of the Psy Games?
So the side games was a culmination of different micro ideas that formed into this thing. And I'm actually writing a book on it now because it was so extraordinary how it came to me. It came as a the original spark of the side games was I was teaching a class. So I own a martial arts school. I teach ninjutsu at that school to youth and adults as well as some other martial arts. And the kids nowadays, they have a lot of Japanese animation cartoons that come on here in the US, and the kids pretend to be these Japanese animation characters. And so one of the cartoons is one called Naruto. And Naruto is about these ninja and these villages, and they all like battle and do stuff. And they have mudras that they do, and they have mantras that they say, and then they can basically use their energy to kind of channel and bring forth these different powers. And so this kid was running around at my school, and he was pretending to be this character. And I'd say, hey, I said to him, I was like, in our martial art we have something similar. It's called the Kuji. It's these powers that, you do a certain mutra with your hands, a certain, position, hand position. You say certain words, and you're able to bring about and call forth these abilities. And the ninja would use this to prepare for battle, or while they were in these really hairy situations that they needed these abilities. And the kid was like, "Well, show me how to do that. I think that would be cool." And I didn't have a fast way to show him because I had been training at that time. I think I had trained in this martial art for probably about 23 years. And so I was like, whoa, I don't have a real fast way to teach this kid and keep him interested, because that's what you want, a person who's interested and motivated and they want to learn it,
Yeah.
Um, And the only answer I had was, hey, well, if you train with me for 23 years out in the woods, like I did with my teacher, you'll have an experience, maybe, you know?
Yeah.
And so that got me searching for other ways to teach people and have them have an experience with their own human potential, their greater human potential. And then they would be motivated to kind of seek that out. And so if I can give an experience to this young person where they feel and they understand that they are more, then they will actually be motivated to follow up and do more research and get more training. And so that led me to remote viewing, and then that led me to mind sight training. And then I started training at the Monroe Institute and kept understanding and building more and coming up with protocols. And in that process, I started realizing that there was no unifying body that allowed people from everywhere to come together to really understand what we're capable of on a grand scale, and then inspire and motivate people to want to grow in their own multi-dimensionality and their own greater potential. And then in that thought, somewhere came to me this idea of the PSI Games.
Mhm.
And I fought that idea because I was like, I don't have time for, I don't know what the PSI Games is. Why did this even come to me? Why did this name come to me? Two, I don't have time to do something on that big a scale. It would be nice that if we had something like that, but I don't have the time or know-how or the connections or the money to make something like that happen. And then it kept persisting as an idea. So over the course of, so this all happened about 2 years ago. And over the course of that, and it took me about a year before I actually said, I'm going to try this out.
Mhm.
And that's basically how the idea was born. And the final piece of the puzzle that really pushed me over the edge was I listened to a podcast, and there was a guy on this podcast who wrote this book called Skinwalkers at the Pentagon. His name is Dr. Lakatsky. And he was saying that he worked for the Defense Intelligence Agency, which is a very big agency here in the US. And he was saying that they have like these UAPs, that we as the American government have UAPs, and that we have been able to get into one. And we do know that there's non-human intelligences that are associated with these things. And one of the guys asked him, well, isn't that scary? I mean, are these things dark, or is that why you won't tell us what's going on? And Dr. Lakatsky said, no, I don't see any darkness here. But what I will tell you is that if we as human beings were able to reach our full potential, we wouldn't have anything to be afraid of. And then, like a screaming voice in my head, I heard the PSI Games again. And I was like, whoa, that's the answer. A unifying body where people from everywhere can come together, see what's possible, be inspired, be motivated to train, to grow, come back the next year, try and compete and have fun with other people and collaborate and grow to the next level. Come back the next year, grow to the next level, and they just keep we keep ascending together as a unified body. That's the answer. And then I said, okay, I'll do it. And that's how the PSI Games was born.
Absolutely beautiful. Yeah, perfect. So, and I know how hard it is to start such a project from scratch. So I knew it because I started my institute
Hmm.
just this year in April. So it's very hard to build up such a stuff. How did you manage to be that successful as you are from scratch, from the starting point? Right,
Yeah.
right with the first pro.
Yeah. So this is one of those really lofty, very out there, um, fluffy concepts or ideas that I tell people, answers, I should say, answers that I tell people. I truly believe that there is something of greater magnitude working through me to bring forth and other people to bring forth the side games. I truly believe that because it's nothing short than magic on the grandest of scales that this has been born the way it has been,
Hmm.
and that it's been successful the way it has been. Because again, I fought it. I was like, I can't do it. I don't know the people. I don't have the resources. But when I said yes, I'll try, all of a sudden, like magic, people start appearing, and the money that we needed started to appear, and the technology that we needed started to appear, and everything just started happening. And the only thing that I had to do at that point was be able to make sure that everything connected. But
Hmm.
it all just started popping up, and it was like it was amazing. I mean, it still is amazing. It's still happening. I'm still in the middle of it. And so I have to say that, I know it sounds untangible. And I know it sounds incredible, but it is. And the truth is that, there is this magic, this underlying power, this that's out there that is looking to birth ideas. And when someone says yes to that idea and they truly believe, in which I truly believe, then it will start to connect the dots for you. So that's what's happening. That's how I believe the side games has been so successful. I mean, yes, I have to do a lot of actual physical work in the real world, but some of the connections that have been coming into my life around the side games to make it possible are just, they're not logical. It's not a way that you can say like, oh, I did this and then this was the
Hmm.
outcome. It's more like I woke up one day, I had an email from somebody. I reached out to that person. Turns out that person was a finance person, which was the exact person I needed at that specific time so that the side games could be successful.
Hmm.
Or maybe it was a musician, or maybe it was a speaker, but that's how it's happening. Sometimes I just wake up and there are emails or phone calls or something, and it's somebody that I didn't even know that I needed, but were instrumental in making the side games happen.
Yeah, yeah. So you gave a question out, and the universe was answering.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's super mind blowing, and some of it wasn't even the question. It was some of it was just like I didn't even know what the question was, but the universe answered a question that I didn't even have, but it kind of knew I was going to have at some point in time.
Hmm.
Like it was like I did the question didn't even form in my brain yet that I need this person or uh can I find this person? That person would just show up and they would be like, you will probably need this, and I'm here to help with that. And then I look at it and I'm like, oh my gosh, how did I miss that? I did need that. I'm so glad that this person just showed up for me.
Yeah, yeah.
The universe was answering questions that I didn't even have yet, you know, but
Mhm.
I needed to be asking. It's super amazing how this whole thing has been transpiring.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. So, what are your plans for the Psy Games in 2026?
Oh, that's a good question. So in 2026, we're going to go bigger. So this year we had about 600 people. Actually, it was over 600 people in attendance. Excuse me, for the side games. So next year we're going to go bigger. We're going to go for 1,300 people.
Oh, nice.
Um, and it'll be our second year. We're also going to make some of the challenges a little bit harder
Hmm.
because now people have had a year to train. Um, you know, we also have side games online. So we're going to start rebuilding side games online to be a better platform for people to train on and start to get introduced to psi abilities and to really develop those abilities.
Hmm.
Um, so that's another thing. We're also cleaning up the event process. So instead of having lectures and workshops all on the same day, which is that Friday, the first day of the games, we're going to do lectures. Then the second day, we're going to do the games, the competition. And then the third day, we're going to do workshops. And that trifecta, we call it the um, inform, inspire, and educate. So I inform people. Let's say you're interested in remote viewing. We will inform you as to what remote viewing is. So you'll get to talk to the Paul Smiths and go into their lectures and listen to their talks and, things of that nature about remote viewing. Then the next day, you will be inspired by remote viewing. You get to see people who can remote view compete in these competitions.
Hmm.
They'll have these great competitions, a lot of fun, a lot of excitement. And then day three is educate. You'll get to sit in some workshops that are led or remote view about remote viewing, so you can actually learn how to remote view.
Hmm.
And so that formatting is another aspect of what we're changing this year. So we're going to be using that formatting, which we didn't use this year. So next year we're going to use that formatting. Um, so those are some things that we're going to be changing.
Nice, very, very nice. I hope I can be there with you because I really, really wanna see this all this live, really.
Yeah.
So um, there is another thing. I heard a rumor that there will be European PSI Games as well.
Oh yeah, beautiful.
Is
Beautiful.
official at the time or?
So it's official and unofficial at the same time. So yeah, I was just in Europe in September, and what we talked about was having a side games in Manchester.
Hmm.
So we are going to be looking to have a side games in Manchester in 2027, in like October of
Okay.
2027.
Hmm.
Um, and so that would be the idea. Or sorry, it wasn't September that I was in. I was there in October. So I was in Manchester in October, Yorkshire, and then I went over to Italy. So we're gonna do one in Manchester in 2027, and we're also going to do one in the US in 2027. So it'll be the first time that we run two side games back to back, and one local to the US and the other one international.
Hmm. Perfect. So that's growing. That's nice. Very, very
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, yeah. I'm super excited about it and seeing it, grow out into that level because that's what it's about. It won't be the only thing out there, but one of the things that it's gonna be, is for us is like the Sci Olympics, and where the Olympics has people, it's international, everybody trains in their different, towns and cities and states and then they come together, they all train up for the Olympics and then they go to the Olympics and they have a good time. So I would really love to see the Sci Games event in multiple countries. And then every year, or every 4 years, the people who do the best in those countries over the last 3 years will come together at one big event, which is the Sci Olympics. And then they'll be able to have a big fun competition at the Sci Olympics.
Wow. Wow. That's a big project. Very, very, very nice, eh?
Yeah, yeah, that's all. I'm trusting that the universe is going to figure a way out, the way for that to happen, as it's already been doing. So I'm along for the ride. There's a fine balance between effort and surrender. I I have to put in some effort, but I also have to surrender to the fact that there's something greater that's working out there
Hmm.
that will make things happen. But I also have to put in my effort as well.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, I think with that said, that's yeah, very good end for the interview because there is nothing more to say than the Psy Olympics. So so yeah, then I would say I'll leave it here. And
Yeah.
yeah, it was a pleasure for me to have you here. I know you're a very, very busy man, and I hope to see you once in person and
Yeah.
to meet you to yeah, that we can chat in person. So that would be very, very nice. So then, Hakim, it was a pleasure for me. And
Yes.
all the best for you. And I wish you the absolute biggest success you can get.
Thanks, Alexander. I appreciate that so much.